All right, so I am live here with Shishana, one of the top agents in the Temecula Valley. Not only does she sell over 50 homes every year, but she was most recently voted by her peers as the most loved agent. And I've been in the business 15 years. I'm never going to be voted most loved agent, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How you
Thank
doing?
you. Good.
Cool.
Good.
All right, so I like to get right into this.
Let's do it.
No banter. So, why did you get into real estate?
Okay. So originally I got into real estate. So I started off as a mortgage officer, a loan officer back in 2003. And that was really amazing. But it was all kind of over the computer. And then it was old school, like picking up the phone and dialing, dialing for dollars.
Yeah.
And it all ended up great. But I really missed that human connection. As you know me, I'm more like into the people. So that's
sure.
kind of, I always knew that was the route that I wanted to go.
Awesome, cool. So, when you were starting out, what was the most stressful part of it? Like, what kept you up at night when you got into the business a long time ago?
Oh, that's a good question. So, what kept me up at night? I would say making sure that I could serve my clients the best I absolutely could. You know, once we would get into escrow, I'm still looking at houses to make sure it's the right choice. Kind of going through that journey with my clients, even though I'm not a part of their family, just pretending that I am them. So just the stress of them buying the house and kind of learning to take on their stress is probably a huge thing, because buying a home is, it's a very emotional process. So being able to help people guide through the emotions without adding to that was kind of a challenge for me at first.
Okay, great. And for new agents in general, what are you seeing, or what do you think are the most challenging things right now for a new agent getting into the business?
I think one of the biggest challenges is probably, where are they going to get the business? Where do they start? How are they going to learn from point A, get all the way to Z? So I've, of course, doing this for a while and kind of figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and what lead system works, what CRMs work, and all of that. It's really important to have somebody that's experienced with those things to kind of guide you, so they can skip that worry and get past that fear of failure and go right towards getting clients.
Yeah. So when did you decide that this is what you were going to do for the rest of your life?
That's a really hard question. I think it goes back to the client experiences and getting clients out of different obstacles. And, every experience that a client has is going to be different. Some of them are slam dunk, easy day. Some of them take longer than expected, whatever it is. But the moment that you help them get over that obstacle and that journey, I think probably the first couple of times I did that, I realized that this is definitely for me.
Absolutely. So what was your situation like before you got into real estate?
So as you know, and a lot of people that are friends with me on Facebook, I had my daughter, Deanna, when I was super duper young, almost too young. But anyways, moving past that. Right.
Me
so
too.
I have this amazing daughter, 23 years old, graduated from college, career, all that. So this story is an amazing story because it all ends really well. But growing up while I'm trying to raise a child was, a challenge. And, having everybody tell you that you're going to fail, that's not the right choice, you should do this instead of that. And I made the choice with her that, hey, I'm not going to let you fail. You're going to be number one at everything you do. So I did everything in my power to be a good leader for her. And that made me work my butt off.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's my inspiration. Definitely.
good for you.
Yeah.
No, as you know, I have a similar story. I mean, when I started in real estate, I was sleeping on the couch of a 2-bedroom apartment in Hemet so that both of my kids could have a bedroom. So
Right.
I know how that feels.
Yeah.
And I know what it feels like to be behind on your rent.
Right. Yeah. Trying to, like the saying goes, like rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get everything together, and then you just make a choice. Hey, this is going to work out.
Yeah. I think the only reason I don't have an eviction on my record is because my landlord was a real estate agent going through all that stuff,
Yeah.
during that period. So I get it. Yeah. So what was the turning point for you?
I think the turning point for me, like I always struggle with a little bit personally with fear of failure, because I promised myself the day that my daughter was born, like, hey, this is not an option. We have to prove all of these people wrong.
Yeah.
So the real turning point was just kind of life happening in itself and working really hard to prove everybody wrong. Not doing it for other people, doing it for myself and doing it for my daughter.
So when you were thinking about, coming to Impact Real Estate, what were some of the considerations and what kind of moved the needle for you in that respect?
Sure. I think that was a hard decision to make because you watch everybody else, you see what the most successful people are doing, and then you try to, figure out what works for you. So I did my research, and I figured out that I wanted to be with a company that really stood behind what they have to offer. So the fact that we are able to give away money to a charity that is important to us or important to our clients, just having that type of freedom was really, really important to me. You know how connected I am with my clients. So being able to nurture that connection with my clients through the brokerage I'm at was really, really important. The fact that you are really, really easy to get a hold of, that's really important to me. We're maybe not the biggest brokerage. I was thinking like, maybe I'll go with the bigger name brokerage. Maybe I'll do something like that where I'm going to get, I'm going to be part of this huge culture. But I realized that I didn't want to get lost in that.
Yeah. So thinking about your journey into real estate and some of the highs and some of your best moments and memories, what comes to mind?
So every year we do our goals. And like my dad being a psychologist, like that's like a big thing for me and I love it. So the most exciting thing for me is setting those goals. And we always do goals that are not really reachable. And every single year I've exceeded those goals. And I just find that really amazing. So it's not just like write it down and it happens. I still work my butt off the entire year to make sure it happens. But it's incredible that when you set that goal and you think it's impossible, and at the end of the year you look back and you hand me that letter that I wrote to myself and it happened. It's like that's each year that's like a amazing proud moment. And then I would say winning that award this year, like most loved agent, I love people so much. So to be recognized as the most loved agent, that was something that I was just so proud of that.
Yeah, and you should be. I've said this to several people. I feel like that out of all the awards of that ceremony, that one is the most important because a complete idiot can sell a lot of houses and win that award or win certain awards, but the wrong person isn't going to win Most Loved Agent Award.
Right.
And it really speaks to your character and the way that you make everyone around you feel, and I told you that. You talked about the letter. Do you want to, some people might not know what you're referring to. Do you want to talk about that letter?
Sure.
And maybe even some of the things that, because you're right, we do set seemingly impossible goals at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And it always amazes me at the end of the year how many of them we actually crush and achieve. So maybe just talk about what that letter is and maybe some of the goals where you opened it and you were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, totally. So that letter, I think the first time we did it, I was like, oh, this is kind of goofy. I don't know if I want to do this.
Totally.
So I'm like writing to myself as if it's already happened. So as if, like, let's say I did it this year. I'm writing it as if it's 2020 is ending, and I just write about everything that happened that year. I write about my financial goals, family goals, how many deals I want to close, and I usually inflate it.
Sure.
Quite a bit.
As you should.
Quite a bit, And the beginning of each letter, I was reading my letters the other day. The beginning of each letter, it says, I can't believe how great 2017 was. I can't believe how great 2000, whatever. And then it's like how I couldn't believe it, but I beat it. Not only did I beat it, but I kicked its butt. And as I'm writing it, I'm thinking to myself, there is no freaking way I'm going to do this. Yeah. And then when you hand it back to me, and it's incredible. Like this year, I think I set a goal. I beat it by 1. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that goal was so high, I didn't think there was any possible way.
Yeah. Do you want to share what that was?
No.
Okay. You don't have to. But so then the point is you read it and you were like, oh my God, I actually achieved this goal that I had set a year ago that seemed impossible.
Yeah. And I do it every year.
That's
awesome.
It's insane. And we're going to do it again this year,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So fast forward to now as you're growing your team. What are some of the struggles or challenges that you're facing starting a new team as a team leader?
So some of the struggles starting a new team is probably finding the right people is something you always worry about. And then when you find the right people, you want to bring them under your wing and show them everything that you know. So in real estate, as you know, we don't have a set schedule. Our business is reactive. And even though we may work 12 hours a day, we don't really know what that 12 hours look like. So that's kind of been a little bit of a challenge for me, trying to figure out what training to start when. And I think something that I've incorporated that I want to do more of is shadowing at least for 2 weeks, just to kind of get a feel for what it's like working with me, get a feel for how I treat my clients, because that's super duper important to me. I want people on my team to treat their clients in that same sort of respect. So I think the 2 weeks shadowing, and then kind of you learn from experience. You can sit down and learn your contracts and all that, but how to deal with people comes from actually dealing with people.
Yeah, no, I've experienced the same thing where agents will come on and they're so hungry and they want to learn so much, and it's like, I can go through this contract right now with you, but you're not going to remember any of it.
Right.
Let's just get one.
Right.
And then we'll go through it, and then it starts to make sense.
Yeah.
So I totally get you.
And in real estate, you learn new stuff every single day, no matter how long you've been doing it, because every situation is really different. So you learn how to kind of unfold things as you go.
Sure.
So that's hard to say, hey, this is what you do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to explain title, insurance, and escrow to someone who's never done it. Even, it's just like, we'll get to it.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So, what would you have done differently getting started if you could go back and change anything?
Oh, that's a really hard question. As you know, I feel super fortunate for the business that I've created and the business that I have. Going back, I would just say to confidence, learn from everybody around you, learn from what other people are doing, watch them, study them, how they do things. If you find an agent that you love, watch what they do, incorporate that.
And that must be a good feeling for you now to have all these agents watching you and coming to you, and they call you, and you can see agents. It's like, oh, their flyer looks like yours, and their advertising looks like yours. So I mean, you're a leader in the industry now,
right?
So,
and I'm like everybody's biggest cheerleader. Like sometimes
sure.
I have agents like, why are you being so positive towards me? Well, I genuinely want people to succeed. I get super excited when I hear about what other people are closing. There's enough business to go around in this town. In our small little town, there's a ton of business here, and so we can all have fantastic careers without stepping on each other. And I think it's really cool that people are watching what I do, and if they want to take something that I do, fantastic. Only if it worked, though. If it didn't work, don't take it. Sure.
No, you're right. There, like you said, there's so much business, and it's very rare that we actually compete against each other. You know, I mean, very rarely do any of us go
and then
up
it's
against...
fun. And then it's fun. Like if you both have offers on the same house and you're going back and forth, it's like then it's whoever wins. It's all good.
Sometimes they win, sometimes we win.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you do to keep yourself motivated?
I am highly driven. So that's a really, really hard question for me. I'm a go type of person. I get excited over everything. So I don't really have I don't have trouble with motivation.
Okay. I'm a big, which I'm a pretty big fan of morning rituals or daily rituals. Do you have anything that you follow?
So it depends, like in our business, it's very reactive, but for the most part, I wake up early. I'm trying not to check my email and check my text right away, even though I still kind of sneak it in. And then I work out. Of course, I have coffee. And then I know this is going to sound really lame, but I'm also a daily journaler. Like I grew up, my dad's a psychologist. I've always journaled. Me too. I just take like 5 minutes and write about my day, and then I put it away and hide it and just kind of get it out. And I feel like the more you prepare yourself in the morning, the better you feel, or the better you can react if something comes up. Yeah. So I think that's really important.
You mentioned 5 minutes of journaling. Have you ever used the 5-minute journal?
I love it.
Right?
I think you remember that. You gave me my first 5-minute journal.
Okay, cool. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I still use mine.
And then I asked you for another one. You're like, you actually use that thing?
Yeah, you're the only person that's
I'm like, it's full.
Yeah.
It's full.
Yeah.
Every day you write down what you're grateful for, and it's like 3 lines, and you just write it out so easy.
You know what's fun is to go back 4 years ago and just to see like where you were mentally and what a great day would look like.
I'm too scared to. I just put them away.
No, that's where I get my It's fun to look at your year and use those for like
Yeah.
a highlight reel almost.
Maybe
of
I'll try it.
Of like, hey, this was a great year. Thinking back to your first year, like what are some of the things that a new agent could do to be successful?
I would say find the right fit. Find where the right fit. You know, nobody can really tell you where you belong. You have to find out what works with who you are, because if you're not being authentic in this business, that's going to come out in everything you do.
Yeah.
So I would say find where you feel comfortable, where you feel like you can be and you can grow and you can learn from other people, and that's going to be super important for your success.
You've had great success joining like 5 different gyms, is that right?
I know I don't have the body of somebody that works out all the time, but I do have my fair share of gym memberships.
I only say that as like, would that be your niche?
I would say that I definitely work out for the friendships.
Yeah.
I'm a very, very social person. I love my CrossFit community. Am I good at CrossFit? Absolutely not, but I love the people there.
That's okay. I met you there.
Yeah, that's right. So I would say, yeah, like every time I join a gym, people get to know me.
Yeah.
And, you know, people work with who they know, like, and trust. And they, most likely, they're friends with me on Facebook. They know that I'm working my butt off and I'm going to get them the best deal. So not only do they get to see me sweat and grind it out working out, but they get to know me through Facebook. And then that's definitely been a great, great part of my success.
Absolutely. Now, and I know it's been the running joke with you and I. Like,
Join another gym, get another
gym,
client.
Because so many people just love you everywhere you go.
I'm lucky.
Yeah. So thinking about your entire real estate career from beginning to now, what have you learned from this whole transformation?
I've learned to be confident in myself, because if you're not being you, that's going to come out with your clients, come out in everything that you do. And in real estate, you have to be on your toes. So if you're pretending to be somebody else, or if you're trying to do something that doesn't match up with who you are, it doesn't work out that well.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So thinking again to, starting in real estate back in the day to where you are now, how has this entire experience changed your life?
Well, I feel like through my clients' journeys, it gives me purpose. It's been such an incredible journey that it's just kind of created who I am, or reinforced what I am, to be able to win an award like most loved agent when I absolutely love people. It just kind of all matched up. So it's allowed me to, be able to do things with my family and take care of, my husband works, but it's nice to be able to provide whatever I want for my family and not have to struggle like I did when I had Deanna. It's like a complete 180.
Yeah. And where do you think your life would be? And this is all speculative, of course.
Okay.
But where do you think your life would be now if you didn't get into real estate?
I'd be a dentist.
What?
I swear, I would help people have like the most beautiful smiles.
Okay, tell me more.
I don't know why. I've always thought that would be a great career. Kind of nasty, kind of getting in people's mouths.
Sure.
But the end result of giving people like perfect teeth so they're confident and they could smile all the time, and having that awesome schedule, right? Where you don't really take your work home with you.
It's a great schedule.
It's a great schedule.
Yeah, you can't take a mouth home.
Right? or maybe you could, but
yeah, I don't know. Maybe
either way, that's
maybe in the wrong situation, right?
that's what. Maybe next lifetime I'll be a dentist.
There you go. So what would you say to someone who's currently in the shoes you were in when we talked about like you just starting out and getting into real estate? Like what advice would you give them?
I would say just go for it. Just go for it. Like don't let yourself get in your way. Find someone like myself or like you that is going to literally show them from step one what it takes to be successful and walk them through that and hold their hands and not allow them to fail. Have somebody just literally pushing you up to the top.
Yeah.
Find somebody like that, because that's what's going to get you there the quickest way. 100%.
Absolutely. What's your vision for the future?
So my vision for the future is to run a super successful team, maybe step back a little bit as the like buyer's agent and just train a good group of people how they can be successful. Go more into the leadership route rather than like showing houses all the time. Helping other agents deal with clients. So stepping back into more of a CEO position versus a buyer's agent situation.
I feel like you've been super helpful for anyone that was able to hear your story and hear the journey and just see all the amazing things that you're doing. For anyone that wants more info, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
So I always answer my phone, so they can reach out to me directly. My phone number is 509-714-2162. And you can call me, text me. You can even email me. It's my first and last name at gmail.com. I'm always available to answer anybody's questions. You know that. I'm like a cowboy. I just answer my phone right away.
Sure. I do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.